Okay, folks, welcome back to part two. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I'm just conscious I went a little bit over time, as ever. I can't. There's so much to cover in there, but I thank you for your time. I haven't been able to show you the analytics of the form at the moment, just as the stuff is coming through, but I'll try and see if I can post a picture of it in the recordings at the end. Okay, but it really is time. I don't want to keep Ben waiting, Ben Mariner, who's waiting in the wings. Okay, so Ben first started at the Internet Business School, I think about 2018. He came to Darling Buds Farm as a student to study the diploma course. Really nice bloke, sat in the back, asked lots of questions, and went away and applied all our information. Okay, he had set up an online chef school that did really well using all his information, all his training, and then he went across and started, I think, Mariner Media, and he's gone from strength to strength. So Ben is an expert in sort of Facebook and social medias. He's one of our Internet Business School coaches, and he knows an awful lot. So it's going to be over to Ben. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Hello everyone, thank you very much, Roger. Can you hear me right? Okay, Roger's muting stuff now. Welcome everyone. So we're going to go through a little bit of Facebook ads today. So I'm Ben Mariner. I'm going to go through the, I've got the chat on my phone. So I'm going to, if I don't get around to your questions, don't worry about it. I'll stay on at the end to do more questions at the end. I've got the phone on the side because Keynote and Zoom don't really like each other. Cool. All right. So we did a little bit of Facebook ads. I'm going to kind of dig deep into the essentials because a lot of people get so confused with Facebook ads. They're like, oh my God, it's just so confusing. And should I be doing organic? Should I be doing ads? But we're just going to dig into exactly what you need to know to get to where you want to go as quick as possible. So first of all, just a really little bit about me. So I'm an ex-chef, and also I used to drive for Deliveroo as well. So before I went into the Internet Business School course, I was working as a chef. I had like a side job, like delivering, doing Deliveroo, which was interesting. Working ridiculous hours, really struggling. And then we went to the Internet Business School course. Started at my online pastry school, which was basically just an online platform where we'd gone into a kitchen, filmed some videos of me doing different dishes. And then once we'd done that, put it online for a subscription, which did really well. I think we've got about 600-700 members at the moment. We've had about 2,500 members come through over the last 2 years. And then from that, obviously learning everything about my own business and driving traffic from social media and making every mistake you could possibly imagine. I opened up Mariner Media, which is a Facebook marketing and a website design company. And from that, obviously, Mariner Media did really well. I overtook the pastry school very quickly in revenue, which is fantastic. And then now, due to COVID, like before COVID, we're just about to launch the London Afternoon Tea Company, which is a catering company, but obviously COVID pushed it right back. So hopefully we're going to launch that in the next couple of months. And also speaker and coach, obviously speak for the Internet Business School. Speak on so many different stages now, mostly on Zoom, but get to speak to so many people about Facebook ads and coach people, and also manage campaigns and stuff, and had some amazing 6-figure monthly results. So it's been amazing ride the last sort of 2.5 years, but I could never imagine how far it would come after coming on the course. Okay, so let's get into the bit you're already here for. So Facebook ads, there's like a notion around it that it's just like a straight up, okay, all you need to do is run a couple of ads, and it'll just, the money comes flooding in, and people just all know about your business, and everyone, it still surprises me like how the perception is so wrong. And they do work. Like Facebook ads are fantastic. Like when you get a good ad going, it's just, you can just pour traffic into the business, but you have to be aware of certain things. So I'm sorry if it's a little bit echoey. We're moving today, so I'm in the office, but it's just a big room, and also there's nothing on the wall. So if there's any echo, I apologize for that. I'm just going to quickly look at the questions. Yeah, okay, so Anwar says, from a time management perspective, how do you effectively manage all your businesses? Outsourcing. So I have about 10 members of staff now across both businesses. and obviously the RTMT company as well. So yeah, so I outsource everything. You know, I've got people that manage social media, people that manage campaigns, graphic designer, website designer, website developer, all on kind of freelance. So like they're employed, but I use them when I need to. So then I don't just like, it's not like a monthly retainer, which is great. So, and I use them across businesses as well. So like if someone's doing social media for me in one business, because I've got 22 pages on Facebook at the moment. So I've got someone who's completely dedicated to that. And if something new comes in, like I'll move them across businesses to do different things, depending on what we're doing. So outsourcing is the thing, you know, there's someone does admin, someone does email, someone who does invoices, like, you know, you get people to do all those little bits you need to do, because you can't, it's physically impossible to manage that all if you try and do it by yourself. He said, thanks, Ben, does that hugely impact on the customer end price of your business? No, not particularly. I mean, you price yourself in the range that you make sure that even after outsourcing everything, you're still making a very decent margin. Like it's just all about selling and knowing what you're worth, really. I could share my outsources if you, at the end, I'll give you some resources to get in contact. So then if you need anything, we can go from there. And I can give you outsources and tell you where to go to get the best price and stuff. So with Facebook ads, so it takes time and persistence. So with Facebook ads, it's very front heavy. So, you know, the first couple of months is always like testing, finding things out, trying different things. And then you'll find this ad, you'll find the campaign, you'll find the audience. It's like, right, this works really well. And then that will take you forward for the next, you know, 2, 3, 5 years. Because once you know what it is that resonates with your audience and what it is that gets them emotionally driven to do that action you want, then that's, you know, kind of the gold mine. You know who they are and what they respond to. Then you can cut out all of the other inefficiencies and focus. And that's the problem that a lot of people go through, is like they struggle with the persistence and trying out different things. Like they'll try one ad and it won't work, and they'll be like, oh, it doesn't work for me, and they'll just quit. And that's the biggest killer of Facebook ad campaigns. The next one is so important. So be very specific with your goals. So what I mean by that is, with Facebook, you have lots of choices of what you can do. So like when you set up a campaign, it's like, do you want brand awareness? Do you want traffic? Do you want conversions? Do you want store visits? And that's probably the most important part, where you select what kind of thing you want from Facebook, what kind of campaign you're doing, because Facebook is like, it's like ones and zeros. It's not a human. So if you say to Facebook, right, okay, I want traffic, it won't say, okay, you want traffic with the hope of making sales. It will be like, okay, you want traffic, we'll give you traffic. And within the audience you've set, it will just drive traffic to the website with no consideration of anything else. So be very careful, like when you tell Facebook what it is you want in the beginning, when you set up a campaign, it will ask you what is your goal, and you have to be very specific. Like if you want purchases, you have to select purchases. Like this is what I want, not I want traffic, and then think, well, if I get a lot of traffic, then I'll get purchases. It doesn't work like that. Facebook goes after the people that it thinks will do the action you want. And if you've told it you want traffic, it will just go after the kind of low quality but cheap people to get on the page, to give you the numbers, but you don't actually get what you asked for. And that's the biggest, you know, one of the biggest problems that people face, is they just don't ask for what they want. There's quite a few questions coming through. I'll try and sort of click in and out of a couple, but then if I miss any, I'll come back. Yeah, I mean, my Facebook ad account was suspended last year. Don't know why, I don't know how to get it back. I'll just remind me at the end, I'll give you a resource. You can go straight onto live chat with Facebook, and most of those issues can be sorted out straight away. They hide their live chat like deep within their support system because they don't really want people to use it, but I've got a direct link I can give to you as well. And you can go straight in there. Normally ad accounts can just get opened, you know, you submit a request and normally they open them the same day. So ad account bans can be avoided. I'll show you later on as well, like what to do to make sure it's not banned. And once you've got it set up properly, and then you know where to go if it does get banned, you know, you should only be down for, you know, a day if it does go down. Be careful hiring agencies on a low spend. So this is one that I see people get caught out on all the time. Is like, if you go to a Facebook agency, they obviously have big clients. You know, we work with clients that spend tens of thousands of pounds a month on Facebook ads. And, you know, other agencies spend, you know, millions of pounds a month on Facebook ads, tens of millions of pounds a month on Facebook ads. And that's fine, because those businesses are already established. They know who their customer is. They know what they respond to. They know that their pages convert. So when an agency comes in and says, okay, our fees are £5,000 a month, Facebook are like, the business like, okay, fine, you know, £5,000 a month, let's see results. But because the agency already knows that their funnel already works, they just need to drive that traffic through, and obviously set up, drive that traffic through with a good ad, do a little bit of testing, and they can start getting results straight away. The problem is, when it comes to smaller businesses, if they go and try and get a Facebook agency and you've not tested your landing page, you know, the business is untested, the funnel is untested, you're not really sure if it's going to work, and then you bring an agency in at say £2,000-3,000 a month, like, and you're spending, so say for example, okay, you're spending £500 a month and the agency is charging you £5,000 a month as their fee, then they've got to 10 times your spend every month just to pay you back what you've paid them. So it's just not practical way of doing it for a small business. And most agencies won't say that. They'll be like, yeah, we'll take you on. This is the cost. But you really need to think about, how realistic is this? Like, how realistic is that if I'm spending £500 a month, how realistic is if they're charging me £5,000, how much are they going to get me back? So when you're just starting out, I'm going to go through different options you've got to test things out first, get stuff right, know what works on, like, you know, pretty much a zero budget before you go and get an agency in, or like, because loads of people get caught out on that because they think, oh, you know, they kind of blindly just go, yeah, fine, I'm going to hire an agency, get them in, and, you know, everything, all my problems will be solved. But then the pieces aren't there. So, you know, you're just paying out. And by the time you've worked through everything, you're already £15,000-20,000 down, and there's no, you know, always going to lose. So you have to be careful of that. If you're going on it with a low spend, there are other ways that you need to use to get to where you want to go, rather than hiring expensive agencies. And also, yeah, so have a working funnel in place. So if you're going to go to Facebook ads, just make sure that wherever you're sending them is either tested. You'll see most places when you're starting out won't be tested. That's when you just start on a low spend, to send a little bit of traffic across. But if you're going to start spending a lot of money, you want to make sure that where you're sending them and the actual products you're putting in place and the upsells are actually working first, because you don't want to spend money just to lose people. Also, watch out for guarantees. If you're hiring agencies, especially, like, they say, right, I can definitely get this many leads and this is the cost. Facebook works quite like the stock market. So basically, the costs go up and down all the time. What we call the CPMs, which I'll talk about later, go up and down all the time. The cost per clicks go up and down depending on the audience, depending on the ad. Like, everything is, all those external factors, billions of rows of data just affect it, and it's changing all the time. They're going up and down at the stock market. So if someone says to you, I can get you 200 purchases next month for, you know, £10 per purchase, like, run, because they know, because it's just not true. Like, it's just, they're either trying to lie to you or they just have no idea what they're doing. So just be really careful if someone says, I guarantee you this price, or I guarantee this amount of leads. Like, that's just not good, because they know they can't, because it goes up and down all the time, especially if they're giving you like a set price. Like, it depends on the audience and the ads and what kind of year it is. And, like, say if it's around Black Friday or Christmas, or, you know, January is like lower, but, you know, obviously December is a lot higher, and all those little elements that are constantly moving are always changing, and, like, people can't predict that. Like, it's the same like the stock market. So just be really careful of guarantees. And also, you know, just be careful of boosting. I think that the main point of that is just boosting posts. It's just not an effective way of spending money. Like, I'd rather you just don't boost posts rather than just spending money, because the same thing, coming back to that point again, where if you boost a post, you can say, right, I just want engagement. Like, Facebook will go out and it will get you as much engagement as possible, but that doesn't mean anything. It's just meaningless engagement. So, you know, boosting posts is normally like, okay, I want likes and follows, but just be really careful, because Facebook will go after the cheapest people to do that, and it doesn't result in actual purchases. And most small businesses, it's like they want the purchases, but they're too scared to ask for it. They're just like, okay, well, I'm going to do some engagement campaigns to get some interest, to push people across. It doesn't really work. Like, it just doesn't, in theory, it sounds good, but it doesn't work in practice. You have to be very precise and purposeful with your goals and be like, this is what I want. Cool. Okay. So there's pieces we're going to go over today. So the pieces that you need. So, you know, the kind of the core parts, because there's so many tabs, there's so many different bits to Facebook Business Ads Manager. so many different like moving parts and little tabs you can go into and rabbit holes you can go down. But the main parts that you really need, the 99.9%, is this. So Facebook Business Manager, which we're going to go through in a second, Facebook Pixel, events, targeting, copying visuals, and then just setting it up. So those are the things. If you know those things and how to do these, that's 99%. The rest of it is very specific. Like you can do specific things depending on what business goals are and that kind of stuff. And this thing called like brand safety and all that kind of stuff, where you can stop your ads showing against other ads. But I mean, that's not really important. All these other tabs are just not important compared to this. Like it's only very rarely, like once a year, I might use some of those other tabs. But this is what you use every day. And if you master this, you won't have to worry about really anything else, unless, there's an odd chance where you just need to ask a question about another tab. So those 6 things are just really what you need to focus on, and how to get from A to B as quick as possible. Let me just have a quick look at some of the questions. There's quite a lot here, so I'm going to come back to them later, but let's have a look. Have you tried any success using Webfire 3.0 software? I'm not sure what you mean with that. Sorry, Robert. Yeah, no worries. I'll put the links in later. If I talk about anything during the talk, and then just remind me later, and I'll go and grab all the links for you. Just that's on Amazon. What is the best marketing tool to drive traffic to my products, which is more effective than Amazon PPC? Will Facebook ads work for that? The problem with Amazon and Facebook is that the Facebook Pixel, so basically we'll go through it in a minute, but basically it's a little bit of code that goes on the website where Facebook can track who's doing certain actions. And because on Amazon, you can't use that. I never really use Facebook for driving traffic to Amazon, because it's just very ineffective. It's just, you're just kind of pushing people into the page. I mean, you can try it on a very low budget, but I've always found that like doing stuff like that, it just doesn't work. You just push the traffic over there and it's never really viable. Like the amount of traffic you have to put over there to get sales it's just not really worth it. So I'd probably go down the route of actually using Amazon's own cost per click system. But like, yeah, with Facebook, if you can't put the pixel in what you're using, it's very difficult to really get results and track things. So I'd be very careful with using it for Amazon. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to speak a little bit slower because apparently I'm going a bit too fast, but that's really normal for me. So I'm going to really try and slow things down. Okay, yeah, sorry. Okay, I'm going to slow my talking down, just a little bit conscious of a lot of content, but I know some of you are struggling a little bit to keep up with my absolute rambling. So I'll try and speak a little bit slower. So the business manager is the most important part of Facebook ads. So this is separate to the Facebook page. So if you have like a Facebook page where you manage and you see your comments and your wall and all that kind of stuff, this is very separate. People think that you run ads through that, and it's a completely separate website, really like it's a completely separate URL. But you need it to run ads. So you can't do proper ads through your normal page. That's just like boosting and all these kind of like promotional stuff, and it's just not good. You just can't get the results you need. So the place you need to go to set up an actual business manager to be able to run proper ads is here. So it's business.facebook.com/create. And in there, you'll be able to set up all the things that we're going to talk about today. So your pixel, your ad account, all that kind of stuff. You can only add 6 businesses. Okay, yeah, I mean, this part is more for people that are running agencies. If anyone's running a Facebook agency and you want to know, or starting a Facebook agency, then it's like when you add someone else to your business manager, get them to add you as an admin to theirs rather than creating it for them. Because the problem is, if you have clients and you start creating ad accounts for them and you own it, and your account gets banned, you lose everything. Like for me, I've had, say, maybe like 25, 30 different business managers different accounts over the last year, for example, under management. So if I was to create all those myself and my account then got banned, I would then lose 30 businesses worth of accounts, and you'd be in serious trouble. And you have a lot of very unhappy business owners. anyway, so also don't be overwhelmed. So that's why I want to break it down today and just say, right, these 6 things are all you need to focus on. Everything else is just noise. Like, forget about all the other tabs, all the things that are in there, you know, the lists of stuff, and, you know, try not to be overwhelmed with it, because it's simple as long as you focus on the right things. And there's only 3 tabs you need to master. So six kind of concepts, and then 3 tabs within the manager you need to master. So it's Ads Manager, which is where you set your ads up. Events Manager is where you tell Facebook, right, this button means add to cart. This button on my website means purchase. This website means, you know, someone's gone to a booking page. You know, that's what you do in Events Manager. And then Audiences is just where you sell to Facebook, okay, these are the people that I want to target. So those are like the 3 parts in Facebook Business Manager that you really need to run good ads. So yeah, so forget about everything else. If you go into Business Manager and there's loads of tabs, and you're like, oh my God, where are we doing start? Those 3 are the only ones you really need to go into. Right. Just checking, quick flash through the questions. For experience, are Facebook ads good for selling B2B products or more suitable for B2C? Okay, so my opinion on this has changed a little bit over the last year, to be honest, because B2C is easier. So if you want to sell B2C, you know, when you're going straight to like a customer, it is much easier because there's a lot more of them on there. So like, you know, business owners, if you're trying to sell to business owners, the amount of business owners on Facebook compared to the amount of consumers, you know, just general consumers, the ratio is completely different. So you're going to have a load more people. So say if you're selling, for example, laser hair removal, if you're selling machines to the business, the people that are in the market for that might be, you know, 1 in 10,000. But then the people that are actually looking for laser hair removal might be 1,000, you know, 1 in 10 or 1 in 100. So you've got a lot more, you've got a bigger pool of people that will, you know, to advertise to there. But I've been working with a couple of big medical firms the last year and a half, and we were doing B2B campaigns. So basically getting in front of like salon owners and people who own clinics to get them to buy the machines. And that's been going extremely well. We put a lot of leads through. And there's 4 different companies with different machines, and Facebook is now their #1 source of leads for these machines that are between 20 and 50,000 pounds. And our leads come in at about 10, 15 pounds each. So, you know, they're absolutely over the moon with that. And yes, that's super important. So you can work B2B, is fine. Sometimes you'll be like, okay, this really doesn't work. And I would think that B2B would struggle more. But every now and again, you find a good niche and it can work. So it works both ways. But if you're doing B2C, you're always going to get, well, I say most of the time you can get better results than B2B because it's just a bigger pool of people. But yeah, but B2B still works. Right, let's click the next one. Okay, so something that really confuses people is the Facebook pixel, and it's really not that difficult. But because it's code, it seems like, oh my God, it's like this piece of code, I don't know what it means. Like I look at Facebook pixel, I have no idea what it means. It's just a little piece of code that Facebook give you, and you take it, copy paste it into the website. And then what Facebook can then do is that once they leave Facebook and they land on your page, it then triggers this code, and then Facebook can then track what they're doing. So like if they click a button, if they make a purchase, if they add to cart, something like that, Facebook can then just say, okay, that person matches this. And the amazing thing about it is that Facebook have a psychological profile on everyone on Facebook. So say that you are on Facebook and you like a photo of a car, and then, you know, you then go and you look at car pages, and you've been on Google and you've been looking at, you know, buying cars, whatever. And then you go onto that ad and you end up purchasing whatever it is that the ad is for. Facebook will then look at what your psychological profile is. So what habits you have, what kind of things you've been doing, what photos you like, what groups you're part of. It will then look at who's purchased, work out kind of like a generic idea of who that, going to get a better idea of who that person is. And then it will go back to Facebook and make sure your ads go in front of the people that are most likely to make the purchase based on the people that already bought. So that's why it's so amazing. It's because Facebook can look at people that bought already and go, right, who on Facebook is similar to this? And then go back and your ads get better and better and better over time, because it starts to learn what kind of person, what habits they have, what they do. And it's not just about what they like, what their interests are, which we can target. It's about what time are they online? What kind of job do they have? What pages they like? How many posts they stop and look at? What do they like? Where have they commented? All these little things that show patterns, and then Facebook can then analyze that person, go back and say, right, that person's very similar habits to that person. Let's show them the same ad and see if they convert. And it will go on like that. And that's the AI learning, which is fantastic. So that's the most important thing really about Facebook ads, is having that pixel in, and Facebook can then learn. And then that's where the AI kicks in, and it will just start to get better and better and better, which is really, really, really important. And with installing it, literally it's just a copy paste job. We can, I don't want to go deep, obviously we could do like a 5-day course on Facebook ads, but it's basically, if on YouTube, every single website platform has a different place to put the pixel. But normally if I'm doing, a new thing for a client, like I'll always just go YouTube, how to install Facebook pixel in, say WordPress, Divi, Elementor, because it's always different. So, your best bet for that is just YouTube it. There'll be a 30-second video of like which field to put it in. And yeah, it's super simple. Like once you've done it once, copy, paste, done. It's super easy. And yeah, obviously what happens if I don't use it is just that, your results will really drop off. Facebook will only be able to track who's gone to the website, who's clicked on the link. So then that gives it no data of like, did those people convert? Was that a good person? Was that not a good person? It will just keep throwing you traffic, and it won't really try to understand who they are and if they're going to buy. Just another quick look at the questions. So pros and cons of Facebook advertising. Ben, what are the pros and cons of Facebook advertising versus Google ads from a cost and effectiveness perspective? Okay, yeah. So Hemel, who was on last week, I talked to him actually a few days ago, and we were working on a project together and discussing Facebook ads versus Google ads. And Google ads is fantastic, but Facebook, if you're getting started and you want to get traffic through and get it working and understand how people react to your page, for the cheapest possible, like I would always go Facebook ads first. So what normally Hemel does when we work on projects together, I'll drive traffic with Facebook and Instagram, because also really good point to note is that everything I'm talking about here is the same with Instagram. So Facebook advertising and Instagram advertising are exactly the same. Like through the platform, like what I'm telling you here is all applicable to Instagram. And the only difference is when you set up an ad, you can deselect or select Instagram, and everything else is the same. So, anything that I talk about today with the Pixel and with Business Manager, like Facebook ads and Instagram ads run at the same time from exactly the same dashboard. So you don't have to worry about learning them separately. They are literally the same. But yeah, sorry. So I normally drive it with Facebook, Instagram, and then Hemel will use that data to then inform the Google campaigns. And that's what makes it, cost effective. But you don't really want to start off with Google campaigns because it's more expensive. So Facebook's basically cheaper to get it working, but then Google has a high quality of traffic. So, but it's obviously more expensive. So I would start with Facebook, Instagram, get it working. If it's working, then be like, okay, now we can start to introduce Google ads, YouTube ads, and all the more expensive kind of stuff, and then start to work on the SEO. And Facebook is a really good way of just getting quick traffic in, testing out a funnel, seeing it works, and then giving you the confidence to be like, yeah, okay, now it's time to start building this business out, rather than going off, spending a year on SEO, spending ages learning Google ads, ages learning YouTube ads, spending loads of money on this, loads of money on that, and then being like, well, actually, when we've driven traffic, it doesn't actually work. And it's like the most devastating thing, because it's like you could have found this out in a week. Okay, so also for 10 brands, should each brand an account? Should I get each brand an account and make myself an admin? Whether 10 brands is a good thing is another question, of course. So what happens in a business manager is that you have the manager, and then say, mine is Marin Media clients. And underneath that, I have lots of different ad accounts for different businesses. So, all my different products are going on. So I would say have one business manager and just do separate ad accounts. And I don't want to go too deep into like just spelling out like, oh, just do this, just do that, because obviously there's a whole process. But yeah, I would keep it simple, have one business manager and just add accounts underneath. Once you've added one, you'll understand how to just keep adding. And I can sort of touch on that in a second. Right. When this is, yeah. is it possible to target? Is it possible to target dog lovers in different countries? Yes, absolutely. So basically, what you do instead of what you don't want to do on Facebook is just go in there and be like, right, dog interests, dog, because it's just so generic. Like you're just going to get, you know, people that have landed on a page about dogs. There might be a child doing research for school. Like it's just so vague. So like, if you wanted to go after like pet owners, for example, you look like just different brands of food, you know, different brands of like, you know, leads and dog training and like behavioral schools and all these different things that they might have looked at that would be very specific to those dog owners, and then use that instead as targeting, rather than just being like, oh, you know, interested in dogs, because that's literally everyone. If like 11 million, Facebook won't even know where to start. So, you know, I always recommend to keep your audiences big, but like also give it a helping hand by doing some research into which kind of brands people use. You know, and when you set up your ads, it will ask you, okay, who do you want to target? And you use those words like, you know, pets at home and all kind of stuff. And then, you know, interested in, I don't know, impact dog behavior or something, you know, those kind of things you've taken from your research, you can then use. And we'll go over that in a slide in a second. Okay, sorry, I'm still speaking a little bit fast. Okay, I'm going to really try and slow it down. So thanks, Ben. Well explained. Do you suggest setting up Facebook ads yourself if you're not experienced, or outsource somebody more experienced at the early stage of the campaign? We're going to touch on this a little bit later as well. I would recommend learning how to do it yourself, but in a way where you know you're getting the right information, which we'll talk about in a sec, rather than bring an agency in straight away, because what you don't want to do, like I said before, is bring people in and then it's like they're charging you lots of money and it's still like in the testing phase, you're not really sure what's going on, you've got a retainer fee to uphold, and it just gets very, very, you know, tight with money unless you've got a massive budget. But then also you want to make sure, you want to probably start yourself to make sure you know what works, what doesn't, before you bring someone else in, because it's just like to kind of go that extra mile, just because otherwise you go so far into the minus that to get back to, you know, into profit is difficult if you're, you know, if you're testing for 6 months. So we'll go across that a little bit later. Like, I've come up with something that I think will help everyone, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. Okay, so targeting. So there's 3 types of audiences you can use. So we're just going to go, actually, let's just start with one, because the others are a little bit more, it's going to take more explaining. I don't want to put too much on you guys. And if anyone needs any questions after, we can always do it afterwards. So the main type of audiences that you guys will be starting with will be what we call cold audiences, or like broad audiences. So when you set up an ad, it will ask you, okay, who do you want to target? And then you can type in different words and it will give you different options of like, okay, you know, say you type in dog and it'll be like dog behavior, you know, dog food, dog kind of thing, dog leads, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it will give you lots of different options, different brands, and to know what you want to target, like I said before, you go into Google and you have a look at all the different names of different, you know, brands and, you know, schools and all the kind of things that people would look at if they had a dog, or like if they were in that market to buy that thing. So say for me, like if I'm targeting Facebook ad services, I'd be like, right, small business owners, small business Saturday, you know, internet business school, like all these things that people would do if they had a small business, or if they were, you know, if they were in business. So that's the kind of just, you need to make a nice list of all the things that you think that people will be looking at, like all the terms in your audience, all the brands. And then once you've got those, you've then got kind of something you can work with, where you can type these things into Facebook and just see which ones it will let you use. Before you do anything, you really need to work out, you know, who your avatar is. So ask yourself questions like, what keeps this person up at night? What is the thing that, you know, where would they, what be? What do they hang out? What kind of books do they read? What kind of magazines do they buy? You know, what kind of places do they go? What are they looking for? And then when you answer those questions, it will make it a lot easier to go and find these brands and these, you know, these places that, these things that people are going to be looking at that you wouldn't necessarily think about straight away. And yeah, so you make a list of magazines, brands, shows, figures, all that kind of stuff. And then you can use that in what we call the targeting. So when Facebook asks you, who do you want to target? You can be like, oh, I want to target Velo magazine, and also, you know, things like Shimano or something, the bike company. You know, because I did a campaign the other day for a company that you basically go out to France and you can cycle with like Tour de France riders, and you get to see this beautiful house, and then you go and cycle all of the track, which is really, really nice. And then, so obviously it was like high-end brands for, you know, bike enthusiasts, like, you know, high-end magazines, all that kind of stuff that I looked at to target. So I know that when my ads go in front of people, it's going to be people that are in that niche. You know, so that's really, really important that you do your research. And also when you type into Facebook, you can always click suggestions, and it'll give you more suggestions as well that you probably didn't think of. So those are always really, really good and useful. You kind of have to vet them as well. Like some of them will be a bit rubbish, but you can get some really good suggestions from Facebook, because it will know kind of what you're looking at. After you've put a couple in, it'll be like, oh, would you also like to target this, this, and this? And you're like, oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Do you skip events for any reason? No, I just put the slides in the wrong order, and I was hoping you guys wouldn't notice. But yeah, we're going to come to events in a second. Or I might have just taken out just for time, but we can always loop around again. So any tips for customer avatar when you're struggling to do this? Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants the avatar we use, so like I have a questionnaire where obviously if I'm working with a client, I'll send them that questionnaire, and it will say, you know, what age are they, what gender, you know, what are they looking at, what kind of books they read, what kind of people they follow, because the business owners were the best people to answer that question. So, you know, sit down, really think about, and that kind of prompts a thought of like, right, who is it that I'm after? And you really, really think about what it is that keeps them up at night, what kind of things are going to get them motivated, you know, what are their fears, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you know who they are and what they do, where they go, you know where to target them and what to say to them, so that it's going to pull them to take action. And that's something we'll go over as well a little bit in the section about copywriting. You know, you really want to know what those people want, so you can put that in front of them. Otherwise, you're just going to be noise. Otherwise, like, you really need to get into that heart of like, what is it that they're looking for? You know, if it's someone that's got a business, like they want to grow their business, what keeps them up at night? Okay, thinking they're not going to get any leads. So then you go back, you know, in that copywriting, and be like, right, not getting any leads? Question mark. This is an easy solution. You know, and it's like you want to really understand who they are and what their wants are and what their needs are before you start trying to put ads in front of them. Okay, I'm trying to click. Okay, cool. Okay, I think I might have just taken out events just because of I was looking at the slides and been like, oh my God, the time is going to be really tight. And not taken out of the actual content. So when we get to the end, what I'll do is I'll get a pre-recorded video of me setting up events in Facebook Ads Manager, also Business Manager, like how to set up and everything, like actual tutorials. And I'll post the links so that you guys can actually go and look at those kind of longer, because they're, you know, half an hour, 45-minute videos. So it's a much more in depth there, and you get a lot more value if I give you those links rather than trying to ram too much information down your throat right now. But at least you understand the main 6 of what things you need to focus on, rather than me trying to just ram all this, you know, random bits down your throat. And you know, like the 6 things, so then we can just go deeper into those things. Writing the ad copy. So with ad copy, people will struggle a lot. I have a copywriter in-house, but obviously I started off doing the copy myself. And the most important things, you know, speak to him and we work on ads together. And the things that work and things that don't. And the most important thing that comes up all the time that I see that people making a mistake of when they're doing ad campaigns, and I'm like, oh, this is the reason why it's not working, is because the job of a Facebook ad is to sell the click, not the product. So what people will do is that they'll go and write an Facebook ad and they'll tell them all about this amazing product, and you know, it's all about it's got this many modules, and you know, this is a course, and this. They give them all of this information, all the technical information about the actual product, rather than just focusing on, you know, would you like to grow your business in like 7 days? You know what I mean? Like, what is the result? What's the benefit they're going to get? And focus the ad on that. So then they get the intrigue to click on the ad to find out and read the landing page. Because the real job of the ad is to get them, get enough attention to get them onto the landing page to then read the sales copy. So if the sales copy is in the ads, they're going to read it, they're going to make the decision there. They're like, But on your landing page, you've got videos, you've got testimonials, you've got all this stuff that you really want people to read, but they're not going to read it unless you pull them over first. So all the ad really needs to do is pull them over. And also, the more clicks you get, the cheaper Facebook will give you for ads. So not only are you getting more traffic, the traffic is actually cheaper as well. So really important to what we say, sell the click, not the product. So, create some intrigue, how businesses are growing by 100% in the next 7 days or whatever. And it's like something else, just something picked out the ad, but you get the idea of like, what's the result they're after? Give them the intrigue of like how businesses are doing this. What one thing are you missing out that you need to get this result that you want? And then they're like, okay, click to find out. Then they've got that landing page with all the information on it that they want, all the information they really need. So that's really important. It's like sell the benefits, not the features. So say, for example, if you're selling a drill, the advert should be the beautiful shelves in a beautiful living room rather than just a picture of a drill, because people aren't really buying the drill. They're not buying the tool, they're buying the result. So you've got to focus on like enthuse people's imaginations rather than just being like, this is my product and this, please buy it. It's not as simple as that. You need to pull people's emotions and make them think about what it's going to be like once they have the product. So that's really, really important. So sell benefits, not features. And obviously use your avatar research to know what their pain points are. So knowing what things to push, what buttons to push, because you've done your research, what keeps them up at night, what they like, what they want, all that kind of stuff. So just you need to push on those buttons when you're writing the ad copy. Bullet points are a really good way of getting things across quickly. So a little bit of text, bullet point, and it's very snappy, because obviously all you're trying to do is get them to click on the ad. So you want to try and keep it kind of clean and concise, and bullet points is a great way of doing that. Keep intrigue above the fold. So what I mean is like the first sentence. So when you write a Facebook ad, the first sentence is what people see. So in that first sentence, it then goes see more. So you need to make sure that first sentence, there's a lot of intrigue in there for them to click see more to read the rest of the ad. Because if it's a boring first sentence, they're not going to click see more. And that's really important, because obviously if they don't click see more, they're not going to really understand what it is, and they're just going to skim past it. So that first line of a Facebook ad is always super important. And also keep it simple. Like, keep it simple. Like, what are you offering? What is it, the thing that they're going to get out of this? What is their benefit? How can I put that across in the easiest way possible and just get them to click on the ad? Like, how is it, just keep it simple. You don't need to go out and spend loads on production and copywriters and stuff. Just work out what people want and just make it as plain as possible and give it to them. And they'll then click on it, because it's like, it shows their benefit. They're like looking at it thinking, this could help me, and then click, and then you've got their attention. So just keep it simple. How is the simplest way I can spin this, basically? Yeah, no worries. You can have the slides. I'll see if I can. Well, actually, I won't promise, but yeah, I should be able to copy the slides and send them over. So where can we find the Pixel tutorial? So depending on wherever you're hosting a website, whether that's with using Elementor, with using a builder, with using WordPress, with using like lead pages, ClickFunnels, like it's all different. So whatever you're using, just go into YouTube and type in, installing a Pixel, ClickFunnels, installing a Facebook Pixel, lead pages, whatever it is. And there's always going to be like a 30-second tutorial there on someone just being copy paste. This is the box you need it in. Because I don't like to do tutorials like on WordPress, for example, on a seminar, because then it's like people go, well, I've got lead pages, I've got ClickFunnels, or I've got, different platform. And it's like, it's just not very helpful, because people just get lost. So, I just YouTube it. I've got one on WordPress, and I think I've got a tutorial on ClickFunnels as well, but everything else is just literally YouTube. It is great for that. How do you do the research into what keeps them up at night? So if you think about it, so for example, right now I'm looking at tomorrow and do research on insurance, and it's like, it's insurance for parents. So what keeps them up at night? I think, right, what I'm going to focus on is more the children, insurance for parents to cover the children when they're not there. what keeps them up at night? What keeps them up at night is like their children not having anything left, like when they're gone, like struggling, you know, them not leaving them anything, like them having to struggle. Like that's or like being landed with like funeral bills, something like that's the things that they're going to think about, and the things that are going to pull on their emotions. You know, it's like, what would your children do if you weren't here? Like that's the first line, you know, what would your children do if you weren't here? And that's the thing that pulls on their emotions, to be like, yeah, I mean, what would they do if I wasn't here? Like, I need to do something about this, because that's very emotional to me. So that pulls you to then click on the ad, because you're like, well, I need to make sure that my family are okay. And that's something, what I mean by what keeps them up at night. It's like, is my family going to be safe? You know, that's the thing that they think about. So you need to meet them in that space and say, you know, what would you do? What would your family do if you weren't here? Question mark. And it's like, do you have like a plan in place? That, you know, this is what, you know, the kind of bills that, you know, family could face if you, you know, if something was to happen, you know, but you can, and then obviously, you know, click on the link to find out how, just pulling this out of the air, but like, you know, how to prevent that happening, whatever. And then it would go over to the landing page, and it would show them, you know, okay, it's only $5.99 a month, whatever, for, you know, life insurance, and then, you know, they get payout, and, you know, family secure and safe, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then that's the thing that keeps them up at night. So it pulls them across, and that's the emotional pull that we'd use to pull them into the ad. So that's what I mean by like thinking about what keeps them up at night. You know, for me, it's like, right, what keeps me up at night is, can I pay my, well, obviously, like, business is doing well, but, you know, am I, you know, is the business good? Like, am I going to be able to pay my staff next month? Is everything in order? You know, are my, is all my tax paid? Like, things like that, you know, are things that I'll think about when I go to bed. I'm like, right, okay, what have we got next month? Yeah, that's enough thing, you know, 10 members of staff. So it's like, am I going to be able to pay everyone? Yeah, that's fine. You know, are we going to be able to do this? And so that's the thing that pull me. It's like, you know, have you got insurance for your business insurance, something like that? So you just have to think about it, you know, logically. What is it that keeps them up at night? Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so heading examples. So these are ones I've seen, and ones that we've switched around. So what I mean by selling the click, not the actual product, is that you go for, say, chatbots, for example. So this is the first example. So the original headline was multifunctional chatbots for your business, low cost and easy to install. Boring. No one's going to click on that, because it's like, one, it's like talking about the cost already, and like they're just like, oh, I can't be bothered with this. Like, I'm only on Facebook to deal with family and friends and chat to people. Like, I'm not really that motivated to do this right now. But then we think, hey, what keeps them up at night? What's their pain point? Okay, reduce sales from email marketing. So people are struggling with email marketing, for example. Right, okay, that's their pain point. That's what keeps them up at night. They're like, oh God, we're not doing any sales from email. It used to be our main platform, and now we're really struggling. And it's like, okay, cool. So now the new heading is how business owners are reaching 80% more customers than email. So it's like, you're meeting them where they are. It creates intrigue, because you're not just trying to sell the product. You just want them to be like, oh, how are business owners reaching 8% more customers than email? And once they click on it, then they've got time, and you've got their attention to then read the landing page about how good the product is. So, you know, that's the way that I would structure a heading if I was running a campaign. And I would look at that and say, right, okay, what is it that they really want? They really don't care that it's multifunctional. They really don't care that it's low cost. They really don't care that it's easy to install. Like, what they care about is the results they're going to get from having the product. So put that in the heading, not the rubbish kind of like boring stuff. Like, you can give that to people later. It's a bit like, people don't wake up and say, oh, I really want to spend time like learning how to cook. Like, they want the end result. They want to be able to make the beautiful dish. They don't wake up being like, oh, I really wish I had a 6-part course on how to cook. It's like, they don't think like that. Like, I wish I could make that. And then it's like, and then obviously when they come over with that pull, you then say, right, well, the way you get here, once they've bought the product, it's like, right, the way you get here is this step, this step, this step. But the actual technical side of it doesn't need to be worried about until they're actually sold on the product. So really focus on the pain points and the results. Same thing again. So for a music tutoring service, it was a get a ticket to a challenge for just £5. It's like, what challenge? What is it? What am I going to get? Why should I click on this? Like, stop wasting my time. Like, I don't really want, I'm too busy to worry about this. They can't see it. They can't see what they're going to get. But then it's like, okay, what are their pain points? What keeps them up at night? Okay, their confidence, not playing an instrument, writer's block, and starting things but not finishing them. Right. Okay, cool. So that's what I've established by looking at forums and, understanding and talking to the owner of the business and being like, right, what is it that these people are struggling with that you get through school? So then from that, it's like, right, cool. Learn how to overcome writer's block and procrastination to create hit songs, even if you don't play an instrument. That's, it's a completely world away from get a ticket to our challenge for £5, because no one's gonna go that extra mile on Facebook, at least, to go and find out what it is you're talking about. Like, they want to know what it is they're going to get before they click on it, because otherwise they just think, oh, it's going to be a waste of my time because it doesn't speak to me. So that's a good example. And then also Baking School was a sign up online page school, $4.99 a month. And then, yeah, obviously pain points was just like, reading written recipes all the time and being like, oh, I don't know how it should look. I'm just reading it and it's not very clear. And it's just, it's just all a bit difficult. And then, Top Chef reveals by using recipes as the reason home bakers don't get best results. That creates intrigue. So it's like, well, how do Top Chefs do that? Because surely it's just recipes. But then obviously that takes them to the online pastry school, which then gives them you put the angle on it where it's like, you can watch them do it step by step. And then, you get shown all of these different recipes and stuff, but, you can see it and you see how it should look and you see what the next steps are and you can follow it exactly rather than trying to read through a recipe and understand it. So it's just a very different way of looking at things, but it makes a huge, huge difference. With the creative, so by that, the visuals really, you don't want to, trying to put this in the best way, like, you don't want to go crazy trying to make really high quality, but you don't have to go crazy like making like really high quality stuff that is a bit too over the top. That you can always just take the heading. So I would always start with the copy first, get your key message, so that heading, that thing that you're trying to really hit home with. And once the copy's there, once you've got that killer headline, just put it in visual form, because all you're trying to do is get attention. So you're just trying to basically leak out the title into the visuals. So it's like you're hitting them twice with it. So, people will get like a stock photo. So they'll have like, get a really good title and they use like a stock photo. So it's irrelevant. It's just like, you can't do that, or have mixed messages. So, the best example I've got here is like with the chatbot, it was like how businesses are improving results by 80%. And it's like email not yielding results, and it's moving as well, that video. And it's like, all it's doing is just putting the heading in visual form. So you don't have to, go off and really think about, all the creative people really struggle with doing the visuals, because they're like, what am I going to do? I got no ideas. I don't know how to do it. It's like, do your copy first, find out what that killer sentence is, and then just make it visual. And you can obviously use videos, GIFs, graphics to do that. Videos are always going to be the best, really, like they're going to perform best. But yeah, I just, you don't have to spend loads and loads of money making like high production stuff and come up with loads of ideas. You just have to make the title visual. And the easiest way to do this, and the really good click-through rate that we get, is most of the time from just doing videos. So say, for example, we've got someone at the moment who's selling a book on like smart wellness. So like, biohacking and, making your body be at its best. And then the heading is just like the number one reason why you're not getting the sleep you need. And then the video is just the owner of the business just sat, in a very casual setting, just talking about this value. And, these little nuggets, these little golden nuggets of value for people. And then because people, it doesn't look too much like an ad as well, people give it more time, because they'll look at the heading, they'll look at the visuals, and they'll take time to look through it. It's what we call a native post. And they'll look through, they'll give it time. And then once they've watched a minute of it, they're already sold, because, they've given you so much attention. So that's a really easy way of getting ads up and ready without spending loads of money. They're just doing a very kind of relaxed video in front of the camera that looks very natural, and then have a good heading on it. And people will tend to respond to that better than just like, very poster style graphics or very highly produced videos, because it will say like ad straight away in their head. It's like ad, it's an ad, just skip past it. But when it's, when it looks like it should be there, it's a very I don't want to use the word native too much, but that's the word we use for it, where it's like it just fits well into the feed. It just looks like a post that would be from a friend. And people come and watch it, they get loads of value from it. And then by the time they've got to the end where it's like, okay, just click below to go and get the book. We're going to go over another 20 different strategies to, make sure that you're living, the best life you can. They're already sold on it. So that's, super, super important. And a really good way of getting started without spending loads of money. Why do you suggest not using stock images? Because people just don't click on them. People just know. Like when you're going through a Facebook feed and you see friends post, stock image, immediately it just says ad. And people are just so tuned to just block those out that they won't even read it, because they know the second they see it, that's an ad. So they're just, and it doesn't really speak to them. Like the stock images, they don't really do much. They're good for, like, say, presentations and stuff to fill gaps. But when you're trying to catch someone's attention, a stock image is just not the way to do it, because people they just see it and they're like, oh, stock image. Like it doesn't inspire me, it doesn't capture my attention, and it also shows me it's an ad, so I just ignore it. So putting it all together, so the campaign level. So when you set up a Facebook ad, go into Business Manager, you set up a Facebook ad. There's 3 levels. Campaign level is where you set your goal. So it's like, do you want traffic, do you want conversions, that kind of stuff. The next one is the ad set level, which is like, okay, who do you want to target? Like what kind of people do you want to go after? What are their interests? And then you just type that in, and then the next level is the ad level, where you upload, your visuals and your copy, and then put the link in. Okay, I want to go to this link, and obviously I'd love to sit and go through and do an ad. Like I'm gonna, I think, be on a couple of weeks as well, so I'll probably go a bit deeper into these parts. This is kind of like an overview of everything, and then we can start to go deeper into little parts as we go along. But into these 6 things. But this is like the main structure of like what you need to know. So those are the 3 things, that the 3 levels you'll go through. So you start up a campaign, it will say, what do you want to do? The next page will say, who do you want to target? And then the 3rd page will be like, right, what do you want to show them? Upload your video, upload your image, you copy and paste in your text, and then your website domain. So that's kind of the only thing you need to focus on, like going through that setup process. Once you've done it once, it's super easy, but obviously it will take a little bit of time to start with. And again, I've got videos and tutorials on this as well, so we can always get you guys set up with different videos and things with what you need. Okay, so when you're managing campaigns, so this is like the last real thing that you need to worry about when like in the overview of everything. Metrics is the last thing that you need to look at. So once you've done all of that stuff, so you've got your Facebook campaign set up, you've got all your visuals and your copy. The metrics is what will tell you what's doing well and what's not doing well. And basically, when you have your dashboards, whatever you're trying to do, so whether that's traffic, whether it's conversions, it will give you a very clear like cost per action. So it will say like cost per purchase is, it's always the first metric. Cost per purchase is £15, and that is the most important thing. Like if you know that, then there must be at least 1,000 metrics you can look at, but that's the only one I really want you to focus on. So like cost per whatever it is that you're trying to do. So in the beginning, when you set up a campaign, it says, right, what do you want to do? And you say, right, purchases, and you say, right, the minimum amount, the maximum amount that I want to be able to spend on a purchase is £15, then keep that in your head and just watch that. So if it purchase is like £11, then you're like, cool, let it run. Don't mess with anything else. It's the only thing you need to worry about. But if your purchase starts going up, so say if you say, right, my ideal cost per purchase, or what I need to stay under, is £15, and it starts creeping up to like 16, 17, then you're like, right, that's when there's only 4 metrics that you look at. Like everything else is kind of irrelevant. Like it's very specific to the stuff, but people get very lost. And there's these 4 metrics are the ones you really want to focus on. So, that should be CPA. So that's the first thing I talked about. CPA is like the cost per action, the thing that's going up if that goes too high. Say if you need it to be £15 at 17, then that's when you take action. If it's underneath that, you can just keep it going. So see, that's, you're earning for £30 and you're paying £11 a customer. Brilliant. So if that's not right, underneath it is what these 3 things are what you need to focus on. So CTR, which we call click-through rate. So that if that's low, so on your dashboard, you'll be able to add lots of different metrics in. So if you add CTR and CPM, CTR basically means out of 100 people, what percentage click. So a good CTR would be 3 to 4%. If you then look at that and you think, oh, my cost is really high, you then go look at your click-through rate and say, oh, it's like below 1, you know, it's the ad that's wrong. So that means the ad's wrong, or like, you know, people aren't responding to the ads, the copy's not very good, or the visuals aren't very good. Then second thing you'd look at, if that's good, you'd say, right, okay, what is my CPM? And CPM means like cost per 1,000 impressions. So it's like cost per million or something. It's like what it costs you to put your ads in front of 1,000 people. And Facebook set that price. And that's why I was saying earlier, it's a lot like the stock market, because it's different for every business and every audience and every ad. So say, for example, you know, a good CPM would be like between £8 and £15. But as soon as you start going past the 20 mark, that's when you're like, there's something definitely wrong here. So that's when like your campaign structure and, you know, all the other things come into question, like, right, okay, maybe it might not be the ads, but it's just the audience isn't quite right. Like, it's very expensive. You know, it's fine if you're selling computers or cars or whatever, you know, because it's expensive market. But if you're selling a low ticket product and your CPM is like over £15, you're like, oh, okay, this is costing me a lot to put it in front of people. So what is it about my audience that makes it expensive? Like, can I take out certain interests and stuff that will bring it down, because the people are perceived as less value from Facebook. So if your cost is too high, those are the two things you look at: click-through rate, CPM. So every other metric you can forget about. And then just if those two are fine and it's still not converting well, the thing you look at is, right, okay, how many people go to my landing page and how many convert? And if your landing page conversion rate is like, say 100 people come onto your website and less than 1% of them convert, then it's like, right, okay, now we need to look at why the page isn't working. So those are like the 3 stages. And the biggest problem that people have is that they'll run an ad and they'll be like, oh, it doesn't work, but I have no idea why. And breaking it down to those 3 things, so click-through rate, CPM, landing page conversion rate, those 3 things, look at those, you'll then be able to work out at what point is the problem and be able to fix it. So click-through rate, if that's low, it's the ad's the problem. If the CPM is high, the audience is the problem. If the landing page conversion rate is low, the landing page is the problem. So those are the 3 things really that you only need to focus on. If you can get those 3 working well, then, you know, the cost will be low. Like, you'll be able to get cheap leads, you'll be able to get really cheap purchases, and that's when the Facebook campaigns really start working. Sorry, yeah, so CPM, so repeat CPM again. So CPM is basically cost per 1,000 impressions, like the cost that what Facebook charge you to show your ad to 1,000 people. So it's just a good indicator of like, every 1,000 people, Facebook charge you this amount, and that amount will go up depending on what kind of audience you're targeting. So if you're targeting people in India, for example, CPM might be £2. But if you're targeting people in the UK that are looking to buy a computer, the CPM will be like 20, you know, or like maybe 17, 18 or something like that. So yeah, CPM is just like the cost that Facebook charge you to put your ads in front of the audience, you know, in a general sense, like how much per 1,000 people, how much does it cost? Yeah, I don't have time to go through like a demo of how you do the ads, because like, obviously, you know, with a campaign, like setting everything up, it's like I could do a 3-day course on it, you know, but I have got some resources after this that we can get you the right links and also the right tutorials and things that I filmed to make sure specifically like you can fill in all the gaps. And also got another couple of Saturday schools coming up as well. We can dig in a little bit deeper to how to actually like step by step to do the ads. Because if we're going to go through Facebook Business Manager and set up an ad, like we can, you know, be here to like 1, and then we'll do the events and then be here to 2, and I'm sure everyone has stuff to do today. So I'll make sure I'll give you the resources in a second so you can get exactly what you need. But obviously, you know, doing it right now is not very viable. Just going to quickly answer this question here, and then going to go on to the last slide. So I have a question. I created an account on Facebook a few months ago with 2 names. Apparently, I did something wrong because I cannot find myself in Google when I enter translations plus Facebook in the search bar. I'm not visible when I enter language school and Google search. Okay, account on Facebook. Yeah, I mean, that's something you have to look at. Like, you just need to log into your account and just see if the page is there. If it is, it might just be that you've hidden it from public view, and that's kind of a quick fix, but we can always have a look at that later. Yeah, because that just seems like you just hidden the page from public view. It's just in your settings. So if you go to the page, or like, because it should be connected to your account, like as you log into Facebook, it should give you an option to log in as that page. And then in your settings, it should just be able to say, make public. But that's just something to look at later on. So the issue with, obviously we were talking about earlier with agency fees and stuff, Facebook is very much either learn it yourself or get a really expensive agency in. Like those are the kind of two options that businesses have had. And with small businesses, they can't afford to get an agency in, because with ours, for example, we charge between £1,000 and £2,000 a month because we know we can get the results for the bigger businesses. But with smaller businesses, it's not really worth the time of agencies. So there's a massive void in the middle. And then on the other end is like small businesses who take it into their own hands and they go, okay, well, I'm going to go and learn, Facebook ads. And to give you an example of like how much I've spent on Facebook courses the last 2 years, it's probably about between £15,000 and £20,000 learning everything there is to know about it, and getting deep into everything and learning to a point where I can get like consistent results. So like it takes time, like a couple of years I've been studying this, and also that for 15 to 20,000 in spend. So it's those two options. They're just not very good options. Like expensive agency where you're just getting started and if you're not getting results straight away, then you're paying them to get no results because you're trying to work out what the landing page is, and it doesn't convert, and the funnel, and then you've got a retainer, and it just gets super expensive. And then obviously the other side is like the time and the money that it takes to learn it is insane. So we've got this massive void in the middle where Facebook, where businesses can't do what they need to do. And small, the bigger businesses are like leveraging it massively and like spending loads of millions of pounds, sometimes a day. And the small businesses are just like, I can't get any results. I don't know what I'm doing. So what I've created is called Mariner Media for Small Businesses. So basically what this is, it's not like a course. It's more like a members area where it's got tutorials on everything to do with Facebook from like start to finish, organic, groups, growing the page, ads, setting up events, setting up Pixel, setting up, the kind of funnels you should be looking at, what kind of ads you need. And what we've done, instead of doing it like a course that goes out of date, because the other problem with the course is that you spend a load of money on them and then they go out of date really, really quickly, which is a nightmare because you learn all this stuff and as soon as you put it in action, it's already moved on. So it's more a subscription site instead, where all the videos change. So every time something changes, I'll then remove a video and put another one on that has the changes in it, and it will just keep evolving. And also you can kind of dip in, dip out at any time. And it's just so much less expensive. Like it's maybe a tenth of the price of one course, but everything that I've learned from all those courses are all in one, all trimmed down. And it's not something, we haven't got it ready yet. Like next week, we're going to put it live. So that's like something that is hopefully going to bridge the gap between big businesses and small businesses trying to learn this on their own. For a really, really cheap price. It's just going to be trialing it, I think about £50 a month, and you can just drop in, drop out at any time. So that's something I'm sort of really excited about for coming next week. And also with that, you get coaching sessions and also like email support and stuff. So I've put a link down at the bottom for you guys to book a call if you want. Obviously that's not ready yet, but if you want to book a strategy call to work out what it is you need to go, because you might be in a position where you need an agency, we can put you in the right direction, or if you need just to get this sorted, you need to learn it quickly, within a week, look at everything, like, right, okay, I know what I'm doing, cut all the rubbish out, and just get to where you want to go quickly. And then also it might be a case of like, oh, okay, all you need is this or this or this, here's some free resources, because we've got a new YouTube channel. So I didn't want to be like, okay, guys, this is what this is, because I know that everyone's in different stages. So I've put a calendar up on the website where you guys book a call, 15 minutes. We can just discuss what it is that you need and then point you in the right direction. Like, even if that's not with us, if that's, something else, maybe Hemel or, someone else that I know, even if it's like competition or whatever, like whatever gets you the best results or whatever's going to get you to where you need to go quickly, then I can just direct you in the right direction. So that's there. If you want it, I'm going to just post the link in the chat in a second. And then I think we'll move on to Q&A. I don't know. I think I had an hour, so I think I've run it over a little bit, but I'm sure that it's 50. I said 50, but we're gonna obviously try out different prices and stuff, so you get coaching sessions as well with that. So it's obviously super low ticket price for this new platform that's coming on. We're gonna trial it and then obviously work out the proper prices. Better to get in quickly, because otherwise what's gonna happen is that we're gonna be like, okay, this is worth a lot more. We definitely need to put this up. Cool. Okay, so we'll just move on to a little bit Q&A, because I know that a lot of people have questions and I've probably missed a couple as well. So let me just shoot back through the questions quickly. So we've done already. It's public. Okay, so it is public. Okay. Yeah, that's a strange one. Okay, if you ever if you book in for on that, you know, the /book a call, the link that's on in the page right now. If you just book in a 15-minute call there, we can go through and just check that out and just see why that page isn't coming up. We can just Zoom call it and it would take sort of 5 minutes just to sort that out. So I can't, Tariana, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sorry I'm saying it right, but yeah, if you just book in, we can sort that out. How will people on Google find you, agency service, they do not know you yet and they have no referrals to you? So what keywords should they use? I mean, that SEO on Google is just a slow process. But for me, so what I do with agency services, obviously now I've got clients. So I start off with a few clients and it's like recommendation. I don't really advertise anymore. Like even with the website, it's just very kind of like generic. Like I don't advertise hard because it's just referrals. So the way that I first got my first clients in, to answer your question, is that I used to do webinars. So I used to run Facebook ads to webinars, get people signed up. Then I would do, go through how it works. Then the end I'd pitch Facebook ad services, take on some clients, do ads for them. And then the referrals have just kind of snowballed. And yeah, and I don't really need to advertise anymore. So it's, and I've got obviously my top level clients and with a maximum capacity right now. So I don't really do much SEO work, to be honest, with agency services. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely get a few clients first, even if you have to work for free, just get some clients in, get some results, get referrals, and then that snowball starts going. And then once you've got money coming every month, you can then pay someone else SEO. Like you don't be messing around with SEO when you can do higher ticket stuff. Like if you're going to be charging £2,000 a month for your services, you don't be messing around, like wasting your time doing, like, you know, doing little meta tags and stuff. Like you can just get someone else to do that. So yeah, so I hope that answers your question, Raymond. Okay, so, oh, sorry, yeah, so Stella, I said 50 a month, 50, but obviously we're still working out, obviously it's not live yet, so we're still working out the price point and still working out, you know, the videos and getting them uploaded and stuff. You know, done a lot of the content, but, you know, next week we're going to go hard and just get everything finished off. But yeah, so it's £50 a month, and it's gonna be like no contracts, so people can just dip in and out. So they get all the benefit of, you know, thousands of pounds worth of courses and all the stuff that we test out on a regular basis. You know, we spend, you know, £5,000–6,000 a day on Facebook ads. So obviously you know what works, what doesn't. And as things change, the things, you know, say the videos will change and things will, you know, be taken down and put in. And that's when, you know, you can sort of dip in and out. So you do a month, look at everything, like, hey, I know where I'm at, and then catch up, you know, a few months later, then resubscribe, have a look, go, okay, right, this has changed, that's changed, you know, and just make it, so I want to make it as simple as possible for people to dip in and out. And that's the most useful thing, I think, for small businesses, because otherwise it's just two polar opposites. They either take a massive gamble on agency and pay loads of money, or they try and learn it themselves kind of half-heartedly and just do loads of waste of time courses and spend loads of money. And by the time they get around to it, they're out of date anyway. So it just seems like the best solution that we've come up with, you know, with coaching included as well, to get you from A to B as quick as possible for as cheap as possible, and start getting results. Okay, cool. No worries. Thank you very much, Helen. How we know the platform's gone live. If you guys, if anyone wants to know about the platform, just book in a call. And then, you know, we can talk about it next week, and then it should be live by Monday, Tuesday. So, you know, if you book in a call, we can speak about what your needs are, where you need to go, what the easiest way is to get the results you want, and then I'll point you in the right direction. And that might be to Mariner Media for small businesses, that might be to some free resources, that might be a video that I've got, it might be just an avatar thing we've got where I can send you, like, you know, it depends on what it is that you need. So, you know, just book in a call, and we'll go through exactly what it is that you need to get to where you need to go. Okay, I'm just going to post the link in the chat now. Hold on. I'm just going to go and find it because I know a lot of people just want to click on it. Let me try and find this. Should have this ready. Right, copy. Right, where's my chat? Okay, panelists and attendees. Right, I'm going to paste that in the chat now. So that's the booker call. Please get, oh, hold on, let me just go through some of these more questions. Okay, so can't see the link in the chat. I'll just put that in there. It's possible to get some Facebook and same post to Insta. I think I may have done it before, not for a long time. Yes, Facebook and Instagram, same thing. Literally, like if you post on one, most of the time, like if you're doing ads and stuff, it just goes to the other anyway. So you don't need to worry too much about that. Yes, Joy, just okay, I'm also going to put my email in here. So if anyone wants the slides, just drop me a message. Yeah, if anyone wants the slides and stuff, just literally just pop me over an email and I'll get back to you. On his phone. Yeah, so I'm using a different chat box on my phone just because Keynote that didn't work very well. Hopefully the link is in there now and also my email address. So anything you need, just pop me over. Tips for stopping your account being banned and recovery, please. It's a very deep subject. We'll go over that on again in a few weeks' time. So I'll make sure to include a tutorial on there of how to make sure your accounts don't get banned, and also like how to set yourself up in a way where you don't just get banned like that. And also if you do get banned, where to go, what to do. Okay. I think so. Right, just do this. No worries. Time for chat. So Ben, as a local business agency, are you saying it's too difficult to acquire small business clients? What business size type would you recommend new agencies to focus on? I would recommend taking on small businesses to start with, but pricing yourself at a low cost. So the problem that I've got with businesses taking on big agencies is that the ones that can get results obviously know they can, so they're charging $2,000 to £5,000 a month. But with a small business that is just trying to get their funnel right and they're not really sure what products are going to work, this big agency that comes in, is very hard for them to get results on a product that doesn't really work yet and you've not got yourself worked out, but they're still going to charge you the same. So that's the problem I have there. But if you're starting out and doing local business marketing, for example, and you just work for someone for free and you do like a really low cost, just pay for your time, then you can practice and do stuff for their business, but without them risking loads of money, a big retainer every month to then do their Facebook ads. So like that's what I did when I started out, just did a very low cost, got some experience, got some results going, and then just snowball those referrals. Just gonna take a quick glass of water, one sec. Okay, let me just shoot through these as well. Cool, so that's answer your question in a while. If you mentioned problem with your ad account being blocked, how can you unblock it? Happens. Block without, yeah, okay, that's fine. Yes, if your account gets blocked, you need to verify your business manager. That's something that we're going to cover as well in the so all of this stuff, pixels, how to get your ad account unblocked, how to get in touch with Facebook, how to verify your account so it doesn't get banned. That's all going to be in the Maryland Media for Small Businesses things next week. So if you just book a call for next week, we can chat about that, and I'll make sure you get the resources that you need. Can you please tell us to go to get basic suspension reverse? Lorna, if you just book in a call, and then we'll get that sorted for you. I can give you the resources, or if you need to go through the whole thing, then should have Maryland Media for Small Businesses ready next week. We had the videos you mentioned earlier in the chat. Yes, Andrew, I'm just a bit conscious of the time, so if you just book in a call and just let me know what you need, and I can supply those to you. Yes, you can have a copy of the slides. My email is there if you need it. You just drop me a message and I will get the slides to you. Thank you, Ben. Freshly clear talk. Oh, excellent. Good. I'm glad that I didn't speak too fast to some people. I know that I just speak so quickly sometimes, and I apologize for that, but I just try and get as much out as possible because I know there's so much to cover, but sometimes it's anti-productive. I found 2 more opportunities to appeal and the same happened. The support team reacted to my account. The iOS system immediately blocked them again. Yeah, so that needs to be a Facebook verification issue. And again, the videos for that, I've got tutorials on that. It's about half an hour in Marinated for small businesses, which we can talk about. If you just book in a call, I'll make sure you get what you need. Can we use Instagram on a Mac or just a phone? Is my story no Facebook the same as Instagram? Can we use Instagram on a Mac or just a phone? I use it on my Mac a lot of the time, but I mean, it's easier to use it through your phone. Like Instagram is really made to be a phone app. So yeah, I would just stick it to being your phone. Of course, next session. Awesome. I'll try and see, these are the core things that I want to focus on. Yes, my family name is Mariner Rimmet. So these are the core things I want to focus on. And obviously there's you can go deeper into each thing. So what I'll try and do is keep this as the structure. And then as we go through the weeks and like come on again, I'll dig deeper into specific parts of this, just then we cover the whole lot. Can this work for affiliate marketing? Yes, as long as a big enough margin. Like the thing with affiliate marketing is what you don't want to do is have like a £2 commission on some product and send ads over. Because like if Facebook ads works for them, that's great. But Facebook ads doesn't tend to work for, if it works for them, the price is set right and they're making a good profit. But then if you're taking 10% of what you're selling and still trying to make a profit, then Facebook ads can be a bit of a nightmare for affiliate marketing. But if you've got because I've got a couple of affiliates that I'm part of for other coaches in the business school for their products, like I know that my margin is big enough that I can send people across, get them to sign up, and then I get my commission off of that. And it's big enough for Facebook to be able to compete and get a good enough click. If you've got a tiny little, really small commission, then you don't want to waste your time doing Facebook ads to affiliate marketing. Just do it to your own. Sorry to leave, that's fine, Robert. Thanks very much. Would you use Facebook ads and Instagram separately or both? Or same ad on both? Same ad on both. Literally, Facebook and Instagram ads, I'll just use the same ads and it fits in the same feed. So your Facebook ad will automatically be put into Instagram too. So it's basically the same thing. And Facebook will then just decide which platform gets the best results and put budget into whichever one is doing the best. So it will just be the same. That all you need to do is keep the box ticked and it will just be across both. So Facebook and Instagram ads, same thing. You don't have to worry about anything separate really. So I'll be coming on Saturday School again in a few weeks time, not next week, but I think in a few weeks time, I think it's 3 weeks time. And then at that point, I'll have a look through the questions here and make sure we go, I think, mostly into verification and making sure that your accounts don't get banned, because I feel like that's a big topic. And anything we've covered today that I've not gone and managed to go deep into. Perfect. Great. Thanks very much, Joy. Thanks, been very helpful. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I don't know if Roger can still hear me, but I think that might be the time to wrap it up, to be honest. I don't know if he wants to say anything before we end the session. I'm just gonna give him a second to find the mute button. Roger, can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Awesome.
I
didn't know if you want to say anything.
Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed today. Brilliant session from Ben. Lots of info covered. And do remember that we've got Saturday School again next week, and we'll update you via email as to what's happening during the week. And we'll be normally adding the recordings of these sessions into the YouTube channel, usually by Friday is the aim.
Yeah.
Okay, and you've got all the back information there if you want to go through. So thank you very much. If you've got any other questions at all, anything we've missed or gone through, then drop us an email to support@internetbusinessschool.com. It is a little bit busy there at the moment, so bear with us and we'll get to as many answers as we can. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, and have a really great day.
Thanks, Roger.